service since 2004, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas. Alongside co-host Pearce and producer Ted Evans, here's your host, Jordan Webster.
What up? Welcome, Split the Defense Hockey Podcast, Leafs post game. Just CP and I tonight. A little bit of kids' table. Producer
Yeah.
Ted is busy with Christmas things, which we should be as well. I am in the Christmas spirit, as I do have my Christmas drink. And
Same
I
do
do
I.
have all
Yeah.
sorts of cuts on my finger, if you can see that. I probably can't, but it's just mangled from the tape. Ripping tape, wrapping presents, just destroys my finger every single year. I
Nice.
don't know about you, but I'm a victim of that. Do you have that happen to you where you're ripping tape off, wrapping presents, and you end up cutting into your finger a whole bunch?
I have to admit, I haven't wrapped one present. I have three
You dog.
presents that I've provided under the tree, and they're all in their Amazon package still. So, but my girlfriend will wrap the presents that we have to give to other people.
You dog. You must be nice.
Yeah.
All right. So Merry Christmas, everybody listening. Happy holidays to those who don't celebrate Christmas. The Leafs just finished beating the Columbus Blue Jackets 4-1, as they should, as it should be. Marner started the magic again, passing to Matthews. Made it 1-0 to start. Matthews now has goals in 7 straight. That was number
Unreal.
27 on the year for our Lord and Savior. And Leafs allow another rush chance to Justin Danforth, who we'll talk about in a little bit, and make it 1-1. JT spins and does it himself. What? JT still got it. Footwork, for the old guy.
Oh, yeah.
2-1 for the Leafs. And then Matthews gets his second with a nice sauce from Marner. And it was on the power play, number 28 on the year in game 30. That makes it 3-1. Willie scores shorthanded to make it 4-1. And that's the game. A little bit more skating and cardio, but that was the icing on the cake. So yeah, good win, big win. That's what we needed to see. And they play Columbus. Like, when they're playing these bottom tier teams, just get the win. Just win like this. Play like you're supposed to. It doesn't have to be one goal. Martin Jones was great, only letting in one goal. But I mean, this is how it's supposed to be when you're playing teams like that are terrible, that are in the bottom of the league. And you're supposed to be a team that has these cup aspirations. You're not supposed to just absolutely shit the bed every time you play these bottom tier teams. So it's nice to see the wins and the expected win games, because you almost turn these into scheduled losses when they're playing a bottom tier team, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had a feeling that they were coming out for this one just based on the result from our last game, the 9-3, but 9-3, right? Is that what that ended up being? But yeah,
Like
so
you
I
forgot.
expected them to come out. If they didn't, like, all hell would have rose up on them. Like, it would have been an insane reaction from the fans, myself included. But thank God they came out and actually did something like decent tonight. Way more structured. Actually had a goalie that like they could trust and made the saves he was supposed to. The only save that he didn't make was on a breakaway. So yeah, great night compared to the other night for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have a lot more trust. We know we talked about this. We're kind of beating a dead dog, but like, when
Yeah.
you watch Martin Jones make saves, it just seems a lot more faithful. He's not even an amazing goalie, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to everybody, lie to myself, and say he's the savior, he's the starter. But it just gives you that feeling of comfort that the guy's not going to be flying all over the place. He doesn't look anxious, like a Ilya Samsonov, like a Peter Mrazek, like guys we've seen that kick around the net and push around the net and seem to overcompensate constantly. They're very hyper in the net. He's very calm. I just really enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, like he's a goalie that like the best thing about him, he's probably always going to be slightly below average. He always seems to have above average wins, which I'm not sure how he pulls that off, but um
It's
for his
clutch.
like yeah, save percentage wise, he's always going to be slightly below average, I think, but he's reliable in doing that, which I think that's what we need at the moment. As long as someone can give us just average or close to it numbers, that's what we want, not 700 type save percentage. Like that's getting closer to a batting average than a save percentage. So I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's a good point.
Yeah.
You don't want it to be that low. So Willie started the game with JT and Bertuzzi again. Looks like Sheldon Keefe has gone back to the lines that he had at the beginning of the year. What did you think of that?
I mean, it looked good right away when Marner and Matthews connected right off the start, right? Like, um, it actually, I didn't really notice. I always look at the lineup beforehand that David Alter always provides for me. And I actually didn't even notice until like the first puck drop. And then I was just like, oh shit. And like I went back and looked. I was like, oh, he actually did write that in. I just read it wrong. But yeah, I actually was happy they went back to that. Um, Enough of this. Like, I think it was funny though because that line, the second line, didn't do so hot tonight. Even though that Willie got a shorthanded goal and Tavares ended up scoring, like they were severely outplayed. But it just the big guns showed up, which kind of saved them. But I like the switch back. I always thought that Marner and Matthews were always going to end up back together. Like that just seems like I don't think they would allow Sheldon Keefe to go the rest of the season without being back together. So it was going to be a matter of time. And yeah, the last having such an awful couple games, I think it was the time to do it. What do you think?
I think it's nice to have the option to switch it up and still have success. Like obviously they went on that big run where they were like 10-1-3 or something like that,
Right.
in between November December there. But it's nice to be able to switch them up, still have success, go back and then have a game like this and see like, oh, that works too. We always knew that worked, but like
Yeah.
let's be honest, it was getting stale. It was. You could see it. The numbers backed it up. They weren't scoring as much. They didn't look as effective carrying the puck to the other end of the ice. They were spending a lot of time in their own zone. Matthews and Marner weren't working, so he broke them up. He's put them back together, and like it's working as we have seen it work very well before. Um, and so Matthews is well on his way now to scoring over 70.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
crazy.
he's got 69 multi-goal games. Nice.
Ayo.
Matthews has only played 511 games. The math on that
Oh,
works out to 13.5% of the games that Austin Matthews has played. He has more than one goal.
that's crazy. Wow. I mean, he's on a total tear. Like, I don't know if we've ever seen him like this in his career yet. I know, like, when he got over 60, that was like he had streaks of being amazing. But yeah, I think he's just he's hit his prime, that's for sure. I think he's actually healthy for the first time in a long time. And just, I, I think that as long as nothing changes, he just seems like he's never going to really stop. Like, I don't know. It's a version of him we haven't seen in a long time, to be honest. But it's been awesome. I think he's really showing that he's the best player on this Leafs team. Should be the captain probably, but as far as skill goes, but he's yeah, just something else really.
So I was watching an interview with Wayne Gretzky about Ovi breaking his goal scoring record all time.
Yeah,
And
maybe
he says that he hopes Ovi breaks it and whatever. This is probably an old interview. But the
that's what
point
he
of
has to say though.
the point of the interview is that he said that that's not the hardest record that he thinks that he has. He says that the hardest record that he thinks will always stay and that nobody will ever break is 50 goals in 50 games. Do
Hmm.
you think Austin Matthews will score 50 goals in 50 games this season?
Yeah, wow. So I guess I mean,
Twenty-eight
he's
and
a
30.
little behind pace, yeah, but he's getting there. Especially these 2 goal nights that he keeps having. So I don't know. That's a big ask, but if he does that, then like he's definitely it would be a poor performance the rest of the way to not get 70 right on the season. So uh, well, yeah, I don't know. That's something to think about. I haven't really considered him being able to do that. Like that, I can believe that that's the toughest record to break. Even like his points are insane. I was thought you were gonna say that just Wayne Gretzky's points, but yeah, 50 and 50 would be insane. Like, he's doing what he needs to get there. So, and I think that if he got to game 45, 46, like he turns it up to like make sure he gets there because that's
Yeah, if
a
he's
record
close,
that no one
I fully
forgets.
agree. Fully
Yeah.
agree. And if he's close, he's capable. Like it could
Yeah.
happen.
Oh, yeah.
It could totally happen. And you say like if he was to score only 70 at the end of a 50 and 50 campaign it would be poor performance for the rest of the year. And I'd still consider that. It's 20 goals in the next 32 games. If anybody
Right.
else on the team scored 20 goals in 32 games, we'd be
Yeah,
pooping ourselves. Like, no, like that is good. That would still be really good. I'd be like,
for
whatever. Even
sure.
if he
Yeah.
cooled off a little bit after that, scored 20 more or whatever, that'd be nuts. That'd just be nuts. I think that it's just insane that we're sitting here today at Christmas time having this conversation that it's possible. That
Yeah.
30 games in, that he's got 28 goals and that it's possible for him to score 50 and 50. That's nuts. What do you got, CP?
Just like let's talk about that Tavares goal again, because I think that goal might be on his career highlight reel now. Like the way that he spun into the middle, like the footwork's still there, beautiful shot after. Like I love that goal from him. Still doing it after 1,000 points, you know.
Remember, John Tavares was on the island with like nobody, won them a playoff series, and got guys like Matt Molson paid. Like,
Yeah.
like there are guys that have careers in the NHL because they played next to John Tavares for a couple of years. The guy has it, and he always has had it. And I found in like the last year or so, he's kind of found a resurgence in the trickiness. He's kind of went a little less away from the straight edge game. That started for me when I started noticing JT pulling off a lot more toe drags. Started pulling off more toe drags coming into the zone, and little dipping around people. I really thought, like, there he is. He's getting creative, and he's made a couple of good plays. But that play tonight, that was 5-star. Like,
Oh
that was
yeah.
vintage John Tavares. Like, that's definitely going on his highlight reel. That was just amazing. A little quick spin, spins back the other way, just fires it on net. And, if it didn't go in, you'd never talk about it again. It was a good effort. But
Sure.
the fact
Yeah.
that it went in, now it looks just like great goal, highlight reel goal for sure. Yeah, you love
Yeah.
it when they go in.
Yeah. What do you got?
So next thing I wanted to go to was Justin Danforth. This Justin Danforth kid loves playing Toronto. Okay, he's our age, right?
Yeah.
So he's born in '93. He's 5'9", 190. Not a huge guy, but he's got goals in the last two games against Toronto. He's played 85 NHL games, pro hockey since 2016, though. He's got 7 goals and 7 assists in 34 games for Columbus.
But he scores
It's a
against the
guy.
Leafs.
It's a guy, yeah. Well, maybe he likes playing, he gets up for those games. We want guys like that. You get up
Right.
when you play around the Leafs, let's go. Come on in. He's from Oshawa, Ontario.
Nice. Well,
So he's
there
a
you
local.
go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take him on Toronto. Have you not noticed his name like the last few times that they've been around? I mean, of course, Danforth, like a taste of the Danforth, like the famous Toronto festival, food festival.
Yeah.
Um, did you not notice this kid? Do you not think he's a something? And think of him on a crappy team? Like, maybe.
No, I don't know. I think he's just a guy on a team. He doesn't stand out to me as much as you apparently, but yeah, I don't know. He
Must be the
seems
name.
like everybody. Just probably puts on a performance playing the Leafs. That's just everybody's basically from Toronto, so yeah, lots of good performances from players. But I mean, he's not someone that I think they should go out and trade for, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. Oh well, fair enough. What do you got up next there?
I just in the comments here from Jordan Keys, he says Jones is an absolute stud. So that's funny. So
I
yeah,
mean, Jones has been playing all right. His save
yeah,
percentage still isn't even great. Like over like the last couple of games, but
it was
yeah, he's
tonight.
been good.
But,
Yep. Yep.
yep.
The last game it wasn't great. He got blown out there too. Like I don't know if that was either goalie's fault. Jones has come in and he's done his job. Jones, like he's the third string goalie. Take that into perspective. Like Joseph Woll was supposed to be number 2. The big failure here is Ilya Samsonov. Joseph Woll's hurt. He'll be back. Martin Jones, just the fact that he can play in the NHL, that's fantastic. Like there were times where we had like Kazimir Kaskisuo or Michael Hutchison in that role, and like Michael Hutchinson played for Detroit tonight, I'm pretty sure, but like no, just
Yeah.
no. That's too deep. That's too far. We got to be happy that we have a guy like Martin Jones. I don't have too many expectations, and I think that's why we all go to Martin Jones and say he's a stud, he's so good, because we had no expectations, right? We just thought, Martin Jones, 750, meh,
Or they're so
whatever.
low.
Yeah,
Our
right. Yeah, that's
expectations are so
exactly it.
low of a goalie.
You
Yeah.
have such low expectations for this guy that he performs, and you're like, oh wow, free breadsticks, right?
Yeah. And like the poor performance last game, I think like he came into a game that was already over and the team had already given up on the game. So I don't blame him for that one. And it was your point that oh sorry. A goalie of like his age, it's tougher to come into a game, right? Like, it's way easier for a guy like him he has a ton of games experience and most of them are starting. So just getting the flow of the warm up, getting him, getting loose as you get older as a goalie. So yeah, I don't blame him from that last one, but yeah, it's crazy that it's amazing that we have a third goalie that can do this. Like it reminds me of when we had Aaron Dell for the preseason, and everyone was talking about the best third goalie in the league, and then he got claimed right away. But this one maybe a little bit of trickery because of Brad Treliving's $100,000 bonus on waiver day. So definitely like a little bit of work there paying off. But I mean, do I don't know if we want to get to it, but like I still don't think that like we're safe. Like that the 9-3 game still has me scarred in the goalie situation. So as good as Martin Jones has been, I'm not feeling too comfy going like 6 more weeks without having Joseph Wall back.
Yeah, shit happens, man. Like shit happens. Well, that's one game. It's you go.
But
If
it's
you
not
see it
just
again,
shit
it becomes
happens
a
for
trend.
Sammy.
No, and that's it. It's a trend for him. If it became a
Yeah.
trend for Jones, then certainly we're worried. But like he's
No.
always been a guy that's gonna let four past him, like Jones. But somehow he's found a way to win. The thing is with Samsonov is he hasn't. If he's gonna let four past him, he's got to come out with these fluky wins, this lucky play that Martin Jones has lived off his career for almost 500 games. Otherwise, Samsonov's not going to get that far. Yeah, I'm not really worried about it right now. I think it's all going to work its way out. I don't think they're going to end up calling that Hildeby guy up. I bet you we see Samsonov come back into the net in the new year here.
Right. We did hear Elliot Friedman report tonight that the Leafs are calling around now about goalies. He said that like there's no trade that's going to happen coming out of this roster freeze, but the phone calls are being made. So they might be about getting maybe another like Martin Jones type of goalie, which like no one who's going to be crazy amazing, but at least can fill in games and allows you to send Samsonov down if you really wanted to go to that point without having to bring the hill to be young goalie up.
A little bit of like what we talked about before, a little bit of double insurance, right?
Yeah.
That way, because you don't have just the one guy, now you need kind of two guys in case the one guy's crappy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just not worried about the goalies. I just think it's going to be fine. We'll see Sammy come back and play a game. Jones is being who he is, and so far he's shown me that he can hold the fort. Like I don't feel. I've watched a lot of bad Leafs hockey. Okay, a lot.
Yeah.
And I do not feel with this goalie that he's blowing the game for them. That he's not giving them a chance. He's giving them a chance to win every night, and that's what we need. So the last thing I have here is not much to really talk about, but unless you had anything to talk about it, but it was wild. Sean Corrali was injured late in the first period tonight. Medical personnel were alerted as a precaution, and he is currently being evaluated. He was currently being evaluated at the arena when I got all this info. Then Chris Johnston posts best thoughts to Sean Corrali. They ended the period with 18 seconds remaining in Columbus, and veteran forward in apparent duress after taking a hit and then being hit by a puck in quick succession. So apparently it happened when Jake McCabe went for a hit that made incidental head contact. Then, along with some extra impact, that he ran into Austin Matthews from that hit. Then he was attempting to get up and he got hit in the chest with the puck, which probably caused further complications. That is scary stuff. Apparently, reports are indicating now that the worst case scenarios have been avoided. Corrali was just held out as a precaution. But, like, I thought he just crunched his shoulder or something. I had no idea it was that bad. And everybody was, like, reaching out, posting. And, like, guys take big hits and go off the ice all the time. That was a little wild, don't you think?
Yeah. Like, I thought it was weird how I know that they had to get the medical trainer across, but like the EMTs were down that hallway. And so like I think it was just a miscommunication why it got so blown out of proportion because the players probably didn't know that, but they could see across the ice that like there was a medical trainer across the ice there. And so that's why they felt the need to get him down there because I mean, head trauma is a little bit weird. Like you can it doesn't necessarily happen right away. So I feel like possibly the puck hitting him and he's like just starting to get the head trauma effects from the hit that's just happening a couple of seconds later that it's all compounding on himself. But yeah, good to know that he's okay. But I thought at first that it was going to be a much more serious issue, right? Like especially when, like you said, I thought it was a shoulder injury as well. So to have to stop play because of a shoulder injury, like you don't. Those are images I don't want to imagine, right? So yeah, glad to hear he's okay. But what a weird situation, and just I think everybody was pretty worried about what was happening there.
In the moment, I thought absolutely nothing of it. Like I think I got up and went to get a
Yeah,
drink, and come back down. And I'm looking at Twitter and I'm seeing everybody like what happened here? Like thoughts with Sean Corrali. I can't believe it was that nuts. I thought it was a nothing play, and he took a stinger and he was helped off the ice. I just thought that was the end of it. So that was nuts. Uh, that's all I got. The only thing that I want to end on here is you need to tell me what your favorite Christmas dinner food is. What is the elite Christmas dinner food? The one that you put on your plate a little bit more than every other one when you go up to grab food.
okay. I have one more hockey thing, and then we'll both do that. So my last
Okay.
hockey thing is so Connor Timmins out of the lineup tonight. I That was a pleasant sight when I saw the lineup change, and the
Did break my
defense
heart.
in all was just I think a lot more structured, a lot safer. They're playing way deeper than they have been, so I think there's a little bit of like we're not getting blown out like we were the other night. So I kind of like the defense lines how they are. They went back to Brody on the top line, so I like the Brody Riley, which we always know is good, and McCabe and Lilligren maybe can use a few more games to build some chemistry, but. And then Benoit tonight lighten up a guy with a big hit. I like him more and
He's
more every
great,
time
but
he
there's
plays.
five lefties, right? It's got to be Benoit or
Yeah,
Lagesson. You can't have both. And honestly,
Lagesson.
like I'm getting to the point where like Benoit over Lagesson. Like
Yeah,
Lagesson's
like
good, he's solid, but he's great
for
seventh. I
sure.
think maybe you need to find somebody to play with Benoit.
Yeah, Lagesson's a perfect seventh defenseman. I think like he can come in and do the job. But I think Benoit, yeah, like does the same things, but also brings those big explosive hits, a little bit nastier when it comes down to it. Um, yeah, and like possibly more willing to throw the gloves, even though we haven't really seen it. I'd like to see a few guys actually throw the gloves a bit more. Gregor and McMahon, like now that they're the fourth line, I want to see one of them maybe toss some gloves too. But
I thought McMahon was gonna get a goal tonight, man. The guy was
yeah.
buzzing.
He
Yeah,
was
he could feel it on
fast
his feet
tonight,
from
both of
scoring
them.
the other night. Yeah, he's looking good. I like our fourth line now. We haven't talked
Same.
about the fourth line in weeks.
Yeah,
It's just been
that's probably
fine.
a good
It's
thing.
great. It's good. It's good.
Yeah,
That's why you're always like, fourth line's fine. You've just been spoiled for so long, not
right.
having to pay attention to the fourth line because it's been all right. But like there was times, like remember like the Spezza Thornton fourth line? It was bad. It was
Yeah,
very bad.
there's been
So I'm like,
versions of the fourth line with Spezza that were good, but Spezza Thornton horrible times.
that was a bad time. Yeah, it was like
Yeah,
Spezza Thornton Simmons fourth line. Oof,
right.
that was
God,
bad times.
right. That's like it was a decade out of place.
Oh man, can you imagine that line in like 2012, like
Right.
2013? Like elite, like
Yeah,
absolutely elite.
unreal. So, but
But
yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
happening
Okay.
here.
So my favorite Christmas. This isn't even hard for me to think about, but it's stuffing. I just pile my plate full of stuffing. If I show up and there's only like one little plate or bowl of stuffing, I'm pretty upset. And if I have to like make sure I don't take too much, but yeah, and my mom is pretty well aware of how much I eat. So there's lots of stuffing at our Christmas dinner. Delicious dinner, by the way.
Right
How
on.
about
Yeah,
you?
I'm 100% the same.
Yeah,
Stuffing all the way.
nice.
I love stuffing. And it does. I don't care if it's homemade or the box. Like I'm good with stovetop. Love stovetop stuffing just the same as a homemade stuffing out
That's
of a
the
bird.
best.
Yeah, stovetop's like
Yeah.
legit. It's dope. So you put gravy on your stuffing?
Yeah, gravy on the entire plate, like
Yes,
squash,
gravy
the
on the entire
potatoes,
thing.
the meat, everything. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, that's right. Oh, I can't wait for Christmas dinner.
I
All
already
right,
had
so the Leafs are
one.
back on the 27th, right? We don't come back here till the 27th.
Yeah,
And who
a
are
little
they
bit of a
playing
break.
again?
Oh,
Toronto
that's a
Maple
good
Leafs.
question.
Google tells me it's the Senators.
Oh yeah, right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll be back. That's Wednesday the 27th. I am off work, so I will be nice
Yeah,
and
same.
relaxed and well slept. And we'll watch that game and come back and give our post game reactions. Uh, until then, Merry Christmas, CP.
Merry Christmas,
Merry
buddy.
Christmas to anyone listening. We
Yep.
appreciate you. And hit the like on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe. Rate us if there's a rating system. Just all those fun things. And find us on Twitter. You can find us at STDP Hockey on Twitter. And all our other handles are at the top in the bio. And we will be back Wednesday. So Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. For now, peace.
Peace.
I gotta figure out
Thank
this
you to
intro-
LaForest
intro music.
Electrical for sponsoring this podcast.
Yes, thank you to our sponsor, LaForest Electrical. And here we go with the outro music.
Happy holidays, everybody.
You've been listening to a Toronto Maple Leafs Colorado Avalanche and NHL podcast, hosted by Jordan Webster, Craig Pearce, and producer Ted Evans. Is presented by LaForest Electrical Contractors, professional and efficient service since 2004, serving the Kingston and surrounding areas.